Sunderland. Thanks very much, Sunderland Sarfati reporting. Joining us now in the Situation Room, one of Donald Trump's key supporters, Scottie Nell Hughes of USA Radio Network. Scottie, thanks very much for joining us. Should Donald Trump apologize over this whole war of wives, as it's called, for retweeting that tweet, making a sort of nasty reference to Ted Cruz's wife, Heidi Cruz?
Well, let me just point out, anybody's picture compared to Melania Trump's is probably going to not look so great. But I think there's fault on both sides within both campaigns, how they've handled this issue. And I think the sooner that both sides can get over it and move on and get back to the policies, like what we're talking about when it comes to Brussels, when it comes to national security, economy, what we're talking about, even these delegate counts right now. I think it's better for the GOP. It's better for both campaigns because we actually have a bigger battle, I think, on our hands than the Republicans are estimating in regards to this delegate count when it comes to the convention.
You think Donald Trump's going to stay away from engaging in this so-called war on wives down the road, given what's happened over the past few days?
I absolutely hope so, and I think he will. I think he's ready to move on, as that interview kind of talked about earlier. You know, we keep talking about that the Republican women are starting to become less favorable towards Mr. Trump. Well, just because they're less favorable doesn't mean that they're not voting for, especially if the race goes up against a Hillary Clinton. So I think the more that he moves on, focuses back on his issues like immigration, like the economy, I think once again you'll see those poll numbers start to take off again.
I was surprised he granted an interview to that radio talk show host Charlie Skikes in Wisconsin. Skikes said, "Didn't you know I was a hashtag never Trump kind of guy?" And Trump said he didn't know that. That seems to be a failure, at least in part, on his staff. Wouldn't you agree?
Why would that be a failure, Wolf? I mean, that's the thing. You know, I go on media all the time, whether they're friendly or not, because I feel like I'm solid enough in what I'm saying and my facts and my figures. Mr. Trump's the same way. He's going to go on, whether you're a friend or a foe. Now, he's not going to go on and put himself in a situation where he's going to be ambushed, but on a case on one-on-one, why not go to those people that are your dissenters? And if you think that you might be able to actually have a good conversation with them, then I think it actually speaks courage and credibility, rather than sitting there and going in your hole and not addressing the media. Wolf, you know this. The media is either going to talk about you or going to talk to you. You might as well have the conversation with the media and not scare away from them.
No, I agree that he doesn't have a problem going on with people who are opposed to him, but he should have at least known the individual that he was granting an interview to had this attitude, don't you think?
Well, you know, maybe, you know, they probably knew enough about it, but why sit there? You know, I think that just shows that regardless of whether he knows or not, you know, he said that he didn't know about the dump Trump, but I guarantee he probably knew that this was not a favorable, he was not going into a softball interview. And I think you have to look at this dump Trump whole theory anyways. It's just a hashtag. It's a movement that's failing, but it's just a hashtag. I think right now anybody that identifies themselves as a hashtag dump Trump actually is doing themselves a disservice, because it's just a hashtag. It's not giving them specifics as to why they do not like Mr. Trump.
All right, Scottie.